Welcome geek, geekettes, and everything in between. With WandaVision now streaming on Disney+, many people are starting to wonder who her twin children are, what their powers are, how they magically age themselves up whenever they want to, and how they're going to fit into the Marvel universe at large. So you may be relieved to know that today I have decided to do my comic character spotlight on Speed, aka Tommy, the fast one out of the two twins. If you'd like to know more about Billy, the other twin, then please watch my previous video where I did a comic character spotlight on him. Now in that video I do go through the origins of the twins, their first mentions in comics, etc. and how they came about. So I'm not going to delve in too deeply to that part of Speed's origin in this video. I am, however, going to present to you some of Tommy's must-know facts in the Marvel comic universe. Number 1. Tommy's first appearance. Now, Billy first appeared in Young Avengers issue number 1, where he was one of the main recurring characters. It wasn't until issue 10, however, that Tommy, his twin brother, was introduced. Now this tends to be a running theme in the comics, in fact. Billy is often the main character, finding himself in an assortment of Marvel teams, whereas Tommy, as of yet, has not made quite the same breakthrough. In fact, there is even a storyline where Billy is rostered onto the Strike Force team, and Speed is a little bit down that he too can't be involved. Back to the Young Avengers, however, they first look for Speed when Hopelink gets kidnapped by the Skrulls, and they use the same database that Iron Lad used to find the rest of the Young Avengers to find other superpowered teams who could help them. It is in this first encounter that the team first sees Speed and point out his very close resemblance to Billy, despite, of course, his silver hair. This brings us on to our second point, Juvie. Kate Bishop, aka Hawkeye from the Young Avengers, informs the team that they are freeing Tommy from a juvie. Once they arrive, however, they see the staff are armed and equipped with technological, offensive and defensive equipment, some even power dampening equipment, and it becomes very clear that this is clearly a facility for holding superpowered delinquents. Then, Vision tells the team that Tommy has been held there because he accidentally vaporized his school. Seems pretty serious, but I'm sure he's not the first person to try that. They then encounter some of the armed officers of the facility, and Tommy then begins to attack them and cruelly beat them up. He justifies his behaviour, saying that he's been locked in there for months, tested on, experimented on, and with the intent of turning him into a living weapon. When you put it like that, I'm kind of on Tommy's side. Soon, Hawkeye and Patriot manage to stop him from doing this, and then they convince him to join their little rescue mission for Hopelink. One thing of note is that this facility, which seemingly holds multiple superpowered beings, is never really mentioned or addressed again in the comics, and Tommy never really speaks about his experiences again, although I think it'd be pretty cool if that popped up again. A little short story about his experience there, or perhaps even some of the other superpowered beings that were kept there. Point number 3, Tommy's sexuality. Just like his brother Billy, Tommy is in fact part of the LGBT community in the Marvel comics. His writers have confirmed that he's bisexual, and in the comics Tommy has been shown having romantic interest in both male and female characters. This includes Kate Bishop, aka Hawkeye from the Young Avengers team, and also, perhaps controversially, Coat of Arms from the Masters of Evil. Now they apparently know each other from this said facility that Tommy had been found in. See what I mean? Now that would make for an interesting comic story. My fourth must-know Tommy fact is his day job. That's right, we probably don't think of many superhero characters having day jobs other than perhaps Daredevil as a lawyer or Jessica Jones as a private investigator. However, as I previously mentioned, Tommy is not as much on the forefront of comics as Billy is. Perhaps he just doesn't have the same desire to save the world. Either way, he has been shown in comics to be working the grind at a 9 to 5, fixing computer tablets. This was actually after the events of the Children's Crusade, where the Young Avengers had just disbanded. Now Tommy could work so fast, living up to his codename Speed, that he could assemble a month's worth of tablets in just one day's work. Now it's actually during this time period that he first meets Prodigy, aka David Elaine. This is, of course, our fifth fact, his relationship with Prodigy. Now David Elaine was first a member of the new X-Men. His mutant ability was to psychically absorb the information that everyone around him knew, whether this be a foreign language or a martial arts skill. He couldn't retain this information once they'd left though, and he had in fact been depowered when he met Speed. Ironically, it was Speed's mother, the Scarlet Witch, that was the cause of this. Thank you, M-Day. They did have a tiny little stint of fighting crime together, where their relationship kind of blossomed, I guess. Although it hasn't been that explored in the comics. Thanks to the recent events on the island of Krakoa, Prodigy has had his powers returned to him, and the two of them have engaged in a somewhat tentative relationship. In fact, Hopelink describes a night out with them as 1.5 drinks and then they just start making out. Tommy has also stated in the comics that Prodigy moves too fast, which is pretty rich coming from him. So anyway, we'll see how that develops. The 6th must-know fact is his powers. This is probably the most important. Many people assume, like his name suggests, that his power is just to move very fast, much like his uncle Quicksilver, aka Pietro. In fact, in the comics, Speed states that he is Quicksilver fast, and demonstrates this by running from the eastern seaboard of the United States all the way to Genosha, which is an island off of the east coast of Africa, as well as search the entire island for living beings in the same amount of time that it took his twin brother Wiccan just to teleport there. Clearly he is fast enough to run across the surface of water without sinking. His powers also grant him increased agility, reflexes and durability, as well as not being affected by such things as oxygen, kinetic impact and friction at those speeds. On top of all of this, his mind also works super fast. He can read at super speeds as well as remember everything that he's seen. Not just a simple speedster then. Well, there's actually more. On top of his speed-related powers, he can also generate hyperkinetic vibrations through molecules. This has a variety of uses. If he directs his vibrations at a specific solid object, he can make it explode. He achieved this in the Civil War crossover event between the Runaways and the Young Avengers, where he made a gun explode. He can also accelerate his own vibration of molecules as well as a small group of people to pass through solid matter like walls. That's right, Speed is far more powerful than you originally thought. Number 7, he saves the day. Now, although he's not quite the superhero that his brother Billy shows himself to be, Speed has in fact saved the day multiple times in the comics, and I thought I'd include this bit of trivia just to show that he's not just a background character. The most memorable occasion is when the Young Avengers were recruited to help defend Asgard when it is attacked by the forces of Norman Osborn. Tommy acts as Iron Man's armor bearer and is in fact tasked with delivering a suit of armor to him, which is essential in saving the day. After the battle is then finished, he then races round to help the fallen warriors and civilians that were injured from the battle, helping save them also. In this small arc, he is actually told that he's doing a good job. See, he's just like everybody else, just wants praise and adoration. Now that both he and Billy have appeared in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, perhaps they will take a larger role in the comics. Maybe we will see Speed at the forefront of his own comic soon, without his brother there. Of course, they're just 10 years old currently in WandaVision, although they have shown themselves to magically age themselves up whenever they feel like it. Now, whether this is the Scarlet Witch, or the twins themselves, or perhaps even Agatha Harkness, getting them even more plump for eating, it is not clear yet. But what is clear is that it would be very convenient to suddenly have them at the right age to join the Young Avengers. With all the other Marvel series coming onto Disney+, this could be the perfect tie-in. In line with this, I'm going to do the next comic character spotlight on Agatha Harkness, who she is in the comics, what her intentions could be in WandaVision. If there's anyone in particular you want me to do a comic character spotlight on, please let me know in the comments and I will definitely get round to them. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, and of course I will be doing more of these comic character spotlights, so please subscribe so that you get a notification when the next one is uploaded. Until then, keep on geeking on.